Hi, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk to you about two new amazing series, as you can tell by the title. But first I want to say it's my birthday today. I just opened some of my presents, so I got some lovely presents. Okay, so on to the review. Today I'm going to talk to you about Working Stiff by Rachel Caine, and this is called the Revivalist series. And also Trance by Caine, and this is in the MetaWars series, and I'm calling them new series because there's only one book in them so far. So book 2 in the MetaWars series is called Changeling, and it's out on June 26, 2012, and the second book in the Revivalist series is called 2 Weeks Notice, and it's out next August the 7th. And I initially kind of got into these books because of my previous experience with the authors. So I knew Rachel Caine, she did the Morganville Vampire series, and Caine did the Dreg City series, which I've read before, and I loved each one of them. So I thought, oh, like, if they write another book, it's bound to be good as well, and thankfully they really were. I just discovered Working Stiff not long ago, and I downloaded it. I got the ebook and I just really enjoyed it. It's like, I think it's really hard for authors now to think up some new kind of premise for a fantasy paranormal novel, besides everything that's been done, like vampires and shifters and fae and witches and everything like that. And I really do think that Rachel Caine succeeded in doing something new and original. It's about a girl called Bryn, and she starts work in this new funeral. She's kind of like a funeral director, and she finds out that her boss is using this illegal drug called Return that brings dead people back to life, but they have to have this injection every single day. And at the beginning of the novel, Bryn gets killed and she's brought back with this injection, so now she's kind of like one of the experiments, and it's so sad in one way because she's kind of technically dead, but she's maintained with this injection, and she just goes through some emotional roller coaster, and they kind of want to use her to find out who's dealing the drug and how they're getting the drug, and it's just so kind of like unique and original and just really enjoyable. And it's a lot more emotional and tense, I think, than the MetaWars series, which is more kind of more actiony and exciting, but that also still has emotion too. And the MetaWars series is about, the Trance is the first novel, and it's about a girl called Teresa, and her kind of superhero name is Trance. It's basically kind of, the author's initial idea was a book about superheroes, and all these people have different powers. So like one can turn into one is basically a shifter. Trance, her original power was kind of like a little bit like telepathy. She could kind of like control people's minds or implant suggestions and things like that. There's another person who, her skin is blue and she can like stretch like her limbs and things. Another one can control the weather. Another one has super senses. His 5 senses are all like heightened. And so when I first found out about this novel, it was months ago, and I said I'd give it a chance because I really like Caine, and then by the time I got the novel and I started reading it, I forgot what it was about really. But so I started reading it, and it was from a little girl. They throw you right into this big kind of chase scene with all these kids, and Teresa, the main girl, she was 10 years old, and I was like, I thought this book was from an adult's point of view. I didn't think it was from a 10-year-old's point of view. And then in chapter 2 it was 15 years later, so I was like, alright. So all these kind of like superheroes, they know each other when they're kids and they're separated, and then 15 years later they get their powers back. So when they're kids, their powers are taken away, so they get their powers back and they all meet up again. Well, some of them meet up again, and they have to try and find the other. There's 12 kids all together, and they have to find the other kids. Well, they used to be kids before this bad guy called Spectre gets them and kills them. So they find some, others get killed, and they have to all band together again and kind of reform those relationships they had as kids and try and get the bad guy, basically. But it's really exciting, and the good thing with the Working Stiff by Rachel Caine is that the relationships develop really well throughout the books. Like, Bryn is so alone and vulnerable in this new situation she's in, and she kind of makes two friends, and like one is like a friend and one of them kind of is a bit more than a friend, and I love reading how their relations developed, and you know, like how they got on throughout the book, and it came to a really, really nice ending. And then in the MetaWars series it's completely different, because usually authors do, you know, that way, like they start a new relationship and build it, but in this one they all knew each other as kids, so they already had these relationships, and then 15 years later they meet up again. Even though they have to kind of get to know each other all over again, they still have that bond they had as kids. So it's not all just new relationships developing, it's that same bond being kind of reignited. And I really enjoyed reading about that too, because you don't really get to read much series where the relationships are already kind of there. But yeah, both series are really exciting and I loved them. Trust me, I think you will too. So please check them out. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to a spoiler review. If you want to jump to the spoiler review about Working Stiff, just keep watching. And if you want to go to the spoiler review on Trance, move to this time number now. Okay, so Working Stiff, I felt Bryn, she was just a really likeable character. Like, I think the author acknowledged every emotional problem that can be associated with, you know, living on this injection. And I loved Jo and Patrick, their different relationships with her. Like, she was kind of like the stranger to them, but they decided to save her, and then they kind of were protective of her throughout. And I was wondering who would kind of be the love interest. First I thought it was going to be Jo, but then we found out he's wife and kids, so I was like, scratch that. And then it was Patrick, and with Patrick you don't automatically know what type of character he is, because at the beginning he's very formal and businesslike. But then as the book goes on, you get to see more and more of his personality, and you know, his feelings, and how he feels about the whole situation, how he feels about Bryn. So like, the author doesn't just give you everything at the beginning, like this character is this happy, loyal, friendly character. No, like, you have to read it and get into it and find out more and more about the character. So it's really well written, I thought. So yeah, I loved Patrick and Bryn by the end, and they were so sweet together, and like, he didn't care that she was, you know, brought back from the dead and had to live by this injection. He didn't care at all. So I think that I can't wait to see how they are in the next book and what kind of relationships they do have. The only negative I have of this book is that the whole sister thing brought in. Like, the minute the sister even rang her, I knew she was going to be used as some kind of like hostage thing, and she was. But the worst thing is that she's also brought back from the dead with this injection, and she's kind of insane as well. So like, it was kind of like better when Bryn was the only one, and she was the only one who had to worry about this whole injection thing, when now she has to worry about her sister as well, and that just bugged me. So I'm not sure how that's going to go now in the second one, because her sister's kind of off with the bad guy. So I definitely recommend it. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about Trance by Kelly Medding in more spoiler details. Okay, so Trance, I thought it was kind of cool how she was the youngest, yet they turned her into the leader. It was exciting, like, to go and get back all their different friends, and it was really, each death was so sad. Even though you barely knew Frost, it was sad when she died. I thought William dying was just really sad. I just thought back to the first time that he met Teresa again, and he was like, "Oh, hey, princess," and I was like, "Oh, he's dead now." And I really liked Ethan too, and of course I liked Gage, and like, it wasn't like the author built it up and then they finally kissed in the end. They kind of got romantically involved pretty early on, but that was, I suppose that was due to their previous bond as kids, and also his kind of revelation about how he, you know, he never saves anyone, and he managed to kind of save her, and they got on so well, and their scenes together were kind of like a joy to read. I liked Storm. I really liked him, and he kind of had this nice friendship with Teresa, even though it was just kind of very premature, and his son then, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how he is in the next book. So there's like a big plot kind of thing set up for the next book, and there's lots of things to solve, and the only negative, I don't know if I'd even call it a negative with this book, is that I know the author's main thing about this book is the whole superhero thing, and that's the main thing I don't like. I kind of prefer my incognito kind of superheroes, not ones who like dress up with costumes and talk to the press. That's the thing that kind of turns me off. And that they actually acknowledge that they're superheroes, not that they're people with powers who do good. So I'm not sure where the author's going to go with that, but I mean, I just love all the characters, and it has really good action scenes, and it was just good, not just action, but there's good nice emotion and heart in it as well, and the bonds between all these people. I did not see the Doctor being the bad guy, I didn't see that coming at all. I was a little confused about his whole, like, what was his whole plan at the end. Like, he tied them all up and drugged them, and he said he needed an alibi. I'm still confused about how he was going to get that alibi. I'm not 100% sure about what his whole idea was in the end, but anyway, it was a good ending, and I enjoyed it, so I do recommend that as well. So that's great, 2 brand new really good series to get into, and it's kind of a long wait for the next books and those, but I hope you check them out and you enjoy them, and let me know what you think of them.